Welcome back to Naked Narcissism. In today's topic, we are going to be talking about self-preservation when you're in a conflict with a narcissist. If you have a narcissist in your life, you know exactly how confusing and exhausting that can be. So we're going to talk about that today. First, we need to understand why conflict with a narcissist is so challenging. Narcissists have an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. These traits make them highly sensitive to criticism by others towards them, and often result in manipulative and aggressive behaviors during conflicts. Knowing this about them can help you to better prepare before you go into conflict with a narcissist. You don't always get forewarning, you don't always get a lot of heads up notice, but the more you implement what I'm going to share with you today, the better prepared you will be in the long run. When I developed my skills for dealing with a narcissist, they became like second nature, almost like driving a car. It just became part of my personality and how to deal with that narcissist. Self-preservation is crucial when you are dealing with a narcissist. It's about maintaining your mental and emotional well-being at all times, despite the turmoil that they're trying to cause you. This involves protecting yourself from their manipulative tactics and ensuring that you don't lose your sense of self-worth and peace. Before we get into the 5 strategies that I'm going to share with you, I want to first tell you about the concept in general about what narcissists do called baiting. It is like casting out a fishing rod, line, and hoping a fish bites. A narcissist knows what you typically get emotional about or what you typically get aggravated about, and they will often try to bait you. They will try to say something that they know you typically react to, and if they can get you hooked like that, they know that they have you. So in general, that's their MO. They want to bait people into conflict. So just be aware of that, and that'll help you tremendously. But let's get into the 5 strategies for self-preservation. Strategy number 1 is to stay grounded in your reality. Narcissists live in a very, very alternate, false reality from the rest of the world. And because of this, they try to distort their reality with yours, hoping that you won't catch on to it. One way that you can help stay grounded in your reality is to document everything. Is this exhausting? Yes. Will it help do self-preservation? Yes. Once you write something down, like it helps you to remember, right? So if your narcissist typically has an alcohol problem, right? You can start keeping a journal of the amount of beer that they're purchasing, the number of times that they're going out, the number of times that they're drunk, and how long they stay out, asleep. When they finally wake up and come to, you can document if they remember it. You can document what they say. So the reason I'm giving you that as an example is because one of the ways that a narcissist in that case might try to distort your reality is when you pick up a glass of wine to have with a girlfriend, maybe in your backyard. Later on that night, the narcissist will be angry that you didn't pay attention to him or didn't pay enough attention to him, and he will call you maybe a drunk, that he might say you have the alcohol problem, and that he might start throwing out things like you're always drunk, or you drink so much. But if you don't have anything written down, even though you know the reality, even though you know that you're not a heavy drinker, even if you know that he is an alcoholic, they try to distort your reality. So if you have it written down, you can always go back to it, because some of these conflicts can be really heated. And so if you have it written down, you can kind of make sure that you're not getting hooked by it. So again, if the narcissist is coming at you saying that you drink too much or whatever, you don't even have to entertain it, because you know you're on solid ground because you have documentation. You don't have to go and remember what's happened or how many times it's happened, right? That's where they get you hooked, is when you can't remember the data, or they can get you off balance with what is really going on. So strategy number 1 is to stay grounded in your reality. Strategy number 2 is to set and enforce your boundaries. Clearly define your limits and communicate them firmly. Boundaries are essential for protecting your peace. Boundaries tell other people, especially narcissists, where you end and they can begin, right? And narcissists actually hate boundaries. So when you have them, it repels them. They will think that you're too much work. So if you start to set boundaries, let's just give an example of you never get enough sleep because the narcissist is always, always has the TV on really loud, really late, or they're always coming into the room and waking you up when you're already asleep. Setting a firm boundary would be, I am gonna go to bed at 9 or 9:30. That's my typical bedtime. And if you're going to come in later, or you're gonna make a lot of noise, or you're gonna be up watching TV, then I'm gonna need you to sleep in the spare bedroom or on the couch. The boundary is you're not going to disturb my peace. Now, a narcissist will do everything to ensure that you don't keep that boundary. That's like saying a challenge to him or her. If you say to him, I'm gonna go to bed at 9:30, and if you're gonna, be up late or anything like that, please sleep on the couch. Or at least you could start with a softer boundary, which is, please come to bed very quietly. Please don't turn on the TV. You can figure out what you're comfortable with. But the narcissist will do the exact opposite of what you're asking them to do, because they're trying to challenge you. They're trying to see if you'll really enforce it. And what I would do if I was in your situation is I would set my boundary, and if he disturbed my peace that night, I would warn him one more time. And then if he came to bed again, being loud or turning on the TV or disregarding your boundary, I would lock the bedroom door and I wouldn't let him in. Now, he's still gonna knock, he's still gonna, raise Cain, because he's not going to like that boundary. But at some point, you're going to have to decide how you're going to manage the narcissist at that point. Now, I know what I would do is I would probably find another bedroom to sleep in and let the narcissist do what he wants, because I would still hold firm to, I'm going to get my sleep. And, an extreme boundary might be, if he continues to do that, then you could potentially move out and find another place to live, because we need good sleep. And if you don't have good sleep, you can't possibly manage a narcissist. They hope to break you down, wear you down, but that's just one boundary, one example. Strategy number 3 is to limit your exposure. Minimize the time that you spend with a narcissist, if at all possible. Distance can help you regain your balance. So if the narcissist is your spouse, it's going to be really hard to create distance, but you can go to another part of the house. You can get on the phone with a girlfriend. You can go to a coffee shop and call a family member. Create distance as much as possible, because if you're not physically around, the narcissist can't create that conflict. Strategy number 4 is to practice self-care. Engage in activities that nurture your well-being, whether that's reading a book, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's exercising, eating right, going to get medical care when you need it. Meditation, hobbies are all ways that you can nurture yourself. Every time that you spend time doing those activities that enrich your soul, you are sending a message to yourself that you matter. If you don't do those things, you're sending the exact opposite message, which is you don't matter. So start small. Start creating little pockets of time that you can nurture yourself and do the things that bring you joy. That will bring you stamina. It will bring you confidence to handle a conflict with a narcissist. Some ways that you can start small is go to the library and get a library card. You might think that's old-fashioned because people don't go to libraries. I go to my local library all the time, and I check out books all the time. And I have a hammock in my backyard, and I read constantly in my backyard, where I've created a very sort of outdoor living space that I really truly enjoy. Another thing you can do is to start, like I said, walking. Is there a trail that you like, or a school that has a track? Start finding things that bring you joy and then do them. Do them consistently. Create routines for yourself. I'm telling you, it will go a very long way. Strategy number 5, which is the last strategy, is to seek external support. The narcissist hopes to isolate you from everyone that cares about you. So if they can do that, then they know they're the only person in your ear giving you feedback, and it's always going to be negative. So you have to seek external support in order to manage a conflict with a narcissist. So that means finding a good therapist, finding a good friend that you can rely on and call at any time of day or night. Because if a narcissist can get you to doubt yourself, or get you to lack confidence, or be really unwell because you're not taking good care of yourself, then they know that they have you. So you have to have people outside of that relationship with a narcissist in order to build you up. This is vital to your mental health. Let's look at a real life scenario that we can kind of put into practice, and this is if you have a narcissistic boss. Imagine you have a narcissistic boss who's constantly criticizing your work and takes credit for your achievements. By keeping a record of your contributions, setting clear professional boundaries, limiting interactions, practicing good self-care, and seeking support from colleagues or a mentor, you can maintain your well-being and your professional integrity. And I can tell you clearly that I used to have a boss who was a narcissist, and one of the things that I started realizing is she was a habitual liar, and she would tell me to do things or ask me to do things, and then I would do those things the way that she wanted them done, and then she would say, I never told you to do it that way, I said X, Y, and Z. And it was very emotional for me because I take a lot of pride in my professional work life and the products that I submit. And one of the things I started doing was when we were in a meeting and I would share my screen and I would use OneNote, Microsoft OneNote, to document everything she was telling me. She would see it on the screen because I was sharing my screen. And then after the meeting, I would send her an email with what I understood her to ask me. And so I started noticing she wouldn't respond to those emails to confirm. And that was kind of her way of like maintaining power so that she could, do this lying later. So I noticed she was doing that. So what I started doing was saying, since I didn't hear back from you, I am proceeding with the notes, with the way that I understood the assignment to be based on our phone call and the notes that I took in that meeting. That way I was covering all my bases, and it stopped. She stopped lying, at least about me. Now, other people would tell me that she was lying about them, and so it was consistent across our group that she would lie. And I started sharing my strategy with them, and so it's sort of like all of us were doing it because everyone was caught in this web. And I don't know, what she gained out of it other than narcissists don't really need a purpose for doing this. They like to cause chaos and confusion, but also we all kind of believe she didn't know how to do the job in the first place. And so that is a real life example of how documenting and setting boundaries for yourself can really help when you're dealing with a narcissist. Dealing with a narcissist is never easy, but prioritizing self-preservation can really make a huge difference. Remember to stay grounded, set your boundaries, and take good care of yourself. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and comment below some other strategies that you've used to deal with narcissists in a conflict and how you do your self-preservation. What other things have you done that have worked really well? And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload my content. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye-bye.